Okay, everyone, we're back. So feel free to start asking questions as you'd like. We'll try to answer them to the best of our ability. Oh, it looks like we just got a question. Perfect. All right, the question was, what is the largest class you have had thus far and the smallest class? Well, for me personally, I would say my largest class was probably between 150 students to 200 students. That was my freshman year when I took a biology course. I was just part of our general education curriculum. But what was really nice about that class is it broke down once a week into a smaller group of about 25 to 30 students. So although I had that larger style class, I also had a really smaller size that kind of supplemented it. It was our lab group, so that's where we actually got to do hands-on experiments, activities, things like that with what we'd been learning that week in the lecture where there was around 200 students. Then probably my smallest class I would say was about 10 students. It was my English class, English composition 2, and it just so happened at that time not as many people signed up, so it was wonderful. I think I definitely got to know a lot of my friends in that class too. Morgan, what about you?
For me right now, my largest class is about 125 students, and that's my one of my entry-level communications classes, but doesn't exactly feel like a large group because we are so close together. So it's kind of nice. And my smallest class is also my English Composition 2 class, and I have about 12 students in there.
Yeah, I have one large lecture hall class, which is around 100 students, and it's really large. But like Mallory said, it does break up into smaller groups, and it's my chemistry class. So we have a lab and we have a recitation where we can just basically review everything that we've done. My smallest class is probably, I have two classes that are around 20 students, and that's just a discussion-based class, so it's really nice to have that small class size.
Okay, next question popped up. Says, favorite place to spend time on campus when not in class? For me, I think I actually really like to spend time at Bierce Library, which is our main library on campus. I like it because it's just quiet, and it's a good place to just go and you can study, or you can be with friends. We also have an Einstein's Brothers Bagels there, so I really like bagels, and especially they always have the seasonal ones, so they even have gingerbread stuff coming out now, so I really enjoy Bierce Library.
I love going to the rec center. That is my favorite place to go here on campus. Like I said, I'm in intramural sports, but I also just love going there and hanging out with friends, going to the hot tub, or just spending time there. So that's a lot of fun.
I think mine is either between the rec like Derek or the student union. Like you said, I love going to the rec. I can work out. I can just relax in the pool or the jacuzzi, which is really nice. The student union, I love getting my daily Starbucks there and just kind of hanging out and socializing with friends there. That's really nice.
Wonderful. Okay, another question just popped up. Are the residence halls locked 24/7? With how the residence halls work is you are only able to get into that residence hall if you're a resident of that specific hall. So all other University of Akron students would have to be let in by a student that lives in the hall that they're going to visit. So it is locked 24/7, so if you are a student living in that hall, how it works is you swipe your zip card once to get in the first door, then the second door you swipe to get into that second door, and then typically you would flash your zip card at someone working the front desk. There's always someone standing at the front desk 24/7, and they would just check for a certain colored sticker. So say, for instance, one of our residence halls on campus is called Bolger. They would say, oh, Bolger has a purple sticker. So they would just make sure that they have that purple sticker. And then you swipe to get up the elevator or the stairs with your zip card, and then you have your actual own personal key to get into your room. So it's very secure here on campus. Those all are always locked 24/7 too, which is really great. Okay, another question just came. What is your favorite campus event thus far this year? My favorite campus event probably so far has been Boo at the Roo. This is an event that's held at E.J. Thomas Performing Arts Hall, which is a big theater that we have here on campus. And it's free for students. All you have to do is just bring your student ID, which is called your zip card. And it's basically a huge costume party for all the students to go to. It's just cool to see everyone's different costumes. They have free food. I'm just going to get excited about Halloween. It's an annual thing, so it's a tradition here at Akron too. What about you guys?
I think my favorite event, I would say, was the battle for the wagon wheel, which at the Akron versus Kent football game, and thankfully we won the wagon wheel this year. It's kind of like a tradition that when Akron and Kent they play in every sport, you kind of compete for this wagon wheel from John R. Bookdale, our founder. So it was really cool that we got to take home the wagon wheel this year.
I love going to the soccer games here. We actually just won the MAC championship in the tournament, and it was held here at Akron. So that was just something great to be part of. I was part of the AK Rowdy section, filling the hill, and that was just great to go on and see the Akron win. And the AK Rowdies is a student section here on campus where we basically just go to every sporting event and support the Zips. They hand out free stuff all the time. We get T-shirts and just root on the Zips. We're like the 12th man.
Okay, our next question. What style of residence hall do you live in, and was it hard to adjust from living at home? Oh, actually for me, I'm from Kent, Ohio, which is only about 15 to 20 minutes from campus, and I'm actually a commuter student, so I've commuted from home since my freshman year here. But Derek and Morgan both live on campus, so they might be able to give you a good answer for that question.
Okay, I live about 30 minutes away, so it's not very far, but I do live on campus. I live in Spicer Residence Hall. It was just built in 2010, so it's more of like the newer style ones. I don't really think it was that hard of a transition to get into the residence hall from home. I feel just as home there. We have, in the newer style residence halls, we have some really cool things called social lounges and study lounges, so I like to call the social lounge kind of like our living room of our floor, so you can go there. There's a TV there, there's some chairs, couches you can kind of hang out on, and I always just meet my friends up in there, so it feels very homey to me.
I'm actually from Columbus, Ohio, so around 3 hours away, and it was kind of hard coming here and not having like a home. But when I came to the residence hall, staying in the honors residence hall, and we tried to make the room, me and my roommate, as like homey as possible. So we put up like magazines and different posters and stuff just to make it seem more homey. And once, like around a week after we moved in, it seemed just like home, because that's where you spend a lot of your time. And it's really nice because in the honors residence hall we have our own bathroom per each room, so that's just a nice little commodity to have that you don't have to worry about.
Okay, another question. Why did you choose UA as your school for college? Okay, for me, I really chose the University of Akron because I knew that I did want to stay somewhat kind of close to home, so UA kind of fit that mold for me. As well as when I came on my campus visit, I was really engaged with the tour guide, and I felt like everyone was really friendly, and I just really liked the welcoming atmosphere that I had when I came here. When you come to campus, if any of you are ever able to, which would be awesome, it's really cool because our campus, we have about 27,000 students who attend the University of Akron, so about a medium-sized school. But what's really nice is it doesn't feel that large when you're actually here, because our campus is really compact. Typically, we say that it's probably about 15 minutes, I'd say, to get from one end of campus to the other. So I really liked how everything was close together, especially because we do have experienced all the different seasons here in Northeast Ohio. So going to and from class is really easy, convenient, and I just really liked that about campus too.
What I think the reason why I chose the university, I was kind of skeptical going into it, but I think my campus visit really did it for me. I knew Akron was a very large city, and I'm from kind of like a smaller town, so I wasn't really sure. But as soon as I got on campus, I felt as if I was home. A lot of things that we've been trying to do in the future is kind of make more like park life for students. So you'll get in the center of campus, you'll see big grassy areas. I saw people playing frisbee, throwing the football around, and it kind of gave me like a more homey feel. But whereas the city is just right downtown, so I like how both of them kind of came together where I could feel kind of like at home and like a park life atmosphere, yet the downtown city was just really nice to accommodate too.
When I first walked onto campus, like 10 people greeted me, and that was just great to know that they wanted me there, and that everybody was really friendly, and that was just great. And I also just love all the opportunities that the university offers. I am an undecided major, so I figured if I'm going to change my major. So Akron has so many major opportunities that we can just go to, and I can explore take any interesting class that I want to try to figure out what I want to do. And that's what I really liked about it. And also, the university is like a lot of things are really new here. It's great just to like go and have free laundry in our residence halls and just have different new things like that where we can have like technologically like new and stuff. So it's really nice.
Awesome. Okay, another question just popped up. Are you required to live on campus your freshman year? Certain students are required to live on campus your freshman year. If you live a certain distance from the city of Akron, I believe it's the 5 counties that surround the city of Akron, you are not required to live on campus. But if you are not part of one of those counties, you are required to live on campus your freshman year as a student here at Akron. Okay, another question. How did you get assigned to a residence hall? Did you get to pick where you live? Derek or Morgan, you want to answer that?
I actually did get to pick where I live. You can put your top 2 choices down for which residence hall you want to live in as your priority, and they try to get you into either that first or that second choice, which is really nice. So I did get to choose where I got to live, but you want to get that application in as soon as possible so the spots won't fill up as fast. So.
Something cool about where I live, in the Spicer Residence Hall, we have things called living learning communities, and that's just where you're grouped to live by a group of students that are in your same major. So, like, I'm a communications major. The majority of my hall are also communications majors. So, something cool that we offer here are those living learning communities, and those are based on the residence hall. So, I just got lucky that Spicer Residence Hall housed the living learning community for communication. So you just fill an application for the LLC, and then I luckily got in and got to live at Spicer, which was the one I wanted anyway.
Okay, another question. What all do you get to see when you come on a campus tour here at Akron? You actually get to see quite a few different things. Typically our tour is a walking tour. It's about an hour and 15 minutes, I'd say. And on that tour, you get to see a classroom building, so you get to see what an actual classroom looks like here at Akron. You also get to see our main library, Bierce Library. In addition, you'll get to see our Student Wellness Recreation Center, which tends to be a highlight of the tour, as well as one of our residence halls. We like to show Spicer Residence Hall, so that's where Morgan lives. As well as we'll show some of our outdoor athletic fields in our football stadium, and then we'll head to our student union. And along the way, we make some different outdoor spots to kind of talk about some of the history of campus, to kind of show you what students like to do in that area, things like that, so that way you can kind of get the whole experience when you get to visit campus as well. Okay, another question about residence halls. Awesome. Did you guys get to pick your roommate? How does that work when you're a student here?
For me, you can pick your roommate. That's one of the perks. I know for me personally, I kind of just want to do random, and it worked out great because I love my roommate, and it just kind of worked out well that way. What they do is, if you do not choose to live with a person or do not choose your roommate, you'll have kind of like a short questionnaire asking questions like, are you a morning person? Do you like to stay up late? Are you messy? Are you clean? Just questions like that, so they can help you match up with someone similar to your interests.
I actually didn't know anybody coming up here, so I chose the random roommate option. And I actually filled out the 10 questionnaire thing, and that I got really lucky with my roommate. We get along great, and we just hang out all the time, and it's great. So if you can, I would highly recommend doing that random roommate selection, because you can meet new people that way and kind of build your social skills along the way.
But if you happen to know someone, you really would like to have someone from home, you can choose a roommate when you're a student here at Akron. How the housing process works is you actually get to put your top 5 preferences on residence halls when you're filling out your housing contract. So as long as both of you put the same top 5 choices, as well as just indicate each other's student ID numbers which you receive once you're admitted here as a student, it makes it really a seamless process for you that typically it's not a problem at all. But most students here at Akron probably do the random roommate choice as well. Okay, another question popped up. Are you on semesters or quarters? Here at Akron, we are in semesters. We have a fall semester which starts at the end of August and goes till about the first or second week in December. And then we have our spring semester, which starts the second week of January and goes until about the beginning of May. Then in between that, we have some different summer sessions that students can take summer classes. They typically last between 5 or 8 weeks. It's not as long as a semester would be in the fall or spring. But typically a lot of students have summer break then and can just kind of relax and not worry about it. Along with that, our winter break is actually coming up, so we're getting pretty excited. Thanksgiving's here next week, so that's a little break for us. But a couple weeks after Thanksgiving, I believe December 13th is our last day of finals. After that, we'll have an entire month off school, which is awesome. So we can go home, go hang out with friends, do whatever we'd like, just relax. And then we'll come back the second week of January. And then summer break typically goes from the beginning of May until the end of August if you're not taking any summer classes or anything like that. Okay, another question popped up. What is your favorite food in the main dining hall on campus? I've actually eaten Rob's a few times, even though I don't live on campus. I do still like to get that buffet style food there. And I say my favorite food there is the salad bar. They actually have two salad bars. One's your traditional salad bar with lettuce, veggies, croutons, stuff like that. But they also have another salad bar that sometimes has all different kinds of salads, like a taco salad or like a Middle Eastern salad or sometimes like a macaroni salad or something like that. And I really like their taco salad there.
I think my favorite would have to be just the other day they made, at the Homestyle station, they made this lemon pepper salmon, and salmon's one of my favorite foods, and I'm used to my mom making it at least a couple times a month. And I remember I called her and I was like, Mom, I just had the best salmon ever from the dining hall. And so that was something very good that I would definitely hope they have more so I can go back.
My favorite place to eat here is probably Ohio Burger, which is located in the Student Union. It actually started here at Akron, and we can use our dining meal plan there. And they make this hamburger with a fried egg on top that I had never heard of before until I came here, and I would highly recommend trying that. That is my favorite food that I've ever had.
Okay, do you participate in any intramural sports on campus? I'm not much of an athlete, but this past summer I was on an intramural softball team. I did it with some of the other orientation leaders. That was kind of our team for this summer. It was really fun. Even though I wasn't very good at softball, it was still fun to do with all my friends, and there were other teams that had a mixture of good and bad people. It was kind of fun to get to meet some other people too, and the teams we played against and all that. So I really enjoyed that. I think Derek's pretty involved with those too.
Yeah, I'm involved in basketball. I did co-ed and the men's league intramural basketball. I also did co-ed volleyball and this thing called volleyball, where you play volleyball inside of a racquetball court, which is really fun. And I want to get into this next year. There's this thing called Battleship, where people get into kayaks and try to sink the other kayaks while throwing water into the other kayak to try to sink it. So I want to try to get into that next year as well. So that sounds really fun.
I know I got into flag football this fall, and that was so much fun. I was on an all-girls team, but there are different teams. There are co-ed teams, all-girls teams, all-guy teams. We played against other all-girl teams as well as co-ed teams, which was kind of difficult, but it was just so much fun to get to know people and just have some fun playing flag football.
Okay, is there a writing center on campus or somewhere to get help editing a paper for class? Yeah, we actually have a writing lab here on campus. It's on the first floor of our library here, and it's free. You can just go there. There's actually tutors for every class there too, as well as a math lab. So say you're taking an algebra class or a calculus class, there are tutors there to help you as well. And even say, for instance, maybe you're doing really well in a class, it's still great to go there because a lot of times, sometimes teachers will give extra credit if they hear you're going there, or things like that. I know I've actually gone to the tutoring center for my sign language class. I'm in sign language 3 this year. And it's getting a little bit faster, a little bit harder than it was the past 2 semesters. So about once a week I go down to the tutoring center, and all I have to do is just swipe my zip card to check in for my appointment, and then I go and meet with a tutor who's just another student who has done all the ASL classes here and just did really well in them, and she's my tutor. And it's really cool because she's just another student like me, so I feel like we kind of formed a friend from the tutoring sessions too, and it's cool to get a different perspective on someone who's had different teachers and has other study tactics and things like that. So I know it's really helped me keep a good grade in my sign language class this year too. But they have that for any class you might take, but the most common tend to be our writing lab or a math lab here on campus.
I know my English Comp 2 professor, she always tells us before our papers due or the week it's due, she says, you must go down to the writing lab and have them proofread your paper. And at first I was thinking, oh, okay, it's not going to be much help. But as soon as you go down there, I know it's just like another student revising my paper, and it helped me so much to just like see what I needed to fix, things I could improve, and just by doing those little things and making revisions and stuff before turning in your paper, it made me feel like a lot more confident before I turned in my paper, which is really helpful.
Okay, another question. What is the ACT score that's recommended for the University of Akron? We recommend that students have a 17 ACT score or higher. Even if you're close to that, say you have a 16, still apply. There's still a chance, but 17 is what we recommend and above. And I believe we recommend a 2.3 GPA or higher as well for our students here at Akron. Is it free to use the rec center here on campus? Yeah, it's actually completely free. All you have to do is just bring your zip card, that student ID card, and they have a front desk where they'll just scan your card and you're good to go and use the rec center whenever you'd like.
And if you do want to bring a guest, they would have to have a form of ID and be with you, but it's $10 for an all-day pass that they can do as well.
What are the hours of the rec center here on campus? Is it open early in the morning or late in the evening? Typically, the rec center, I know, Monday through Friday opens at 6 a.m., so for any early birds who really want to get their morning workout in, you can definitely use it then. It typically closes at 11 p.m. throughout the week. On Saturdays, it doesn't open until 9 a.m. and then closes at 10 p.m. And on Sundays, it opens at noon and closes at, I believe, 9 or 10 in the evening as well. So just on the weekends, it opens a little bit later, just a little bit of shorter hours. Just because, as you probably can imagine, many college students don't want to be getting up early on a Saturday or Sunday morning to go work out. Is the entire campus wireless? Yeah, our entire campus is wireless. You can get the Wi-Fi on your cell phone, on your laptop, anywhere on campus, as well as in all of our residence halls. There is an outlet where you can hook up to Ethernet there. So all you have to do is just bring your own Ethernet cord, and you can use that in your room if you wouldn't want to use the Wi-Fi when you're here on campus too.
I know I personally, like I mentioned earlier, we've incorporated a lot of the park life into the university, and it's really cool. I can just go outside, sit on the grass, make a little picnic, and bring my laptop out there and do homework when it's nice out, of course.
Are there any computer labs throughout campus? Yeah, there's computer labs in most of the academic buildings, specifically for students in certain majors and things like that. Like I know in our College of Business, there's a computer lab for those students. In Arts and Sciences, there's one for those students. All those different things and all those classroom buildings. As well as in our library, there's a big computer lab area for students to use. We have Mac and PC computers, so whichever you personally prefer, you're able to use there. As well as in the residence halls, there's some computer labs for students to use who are living on campus as well. Also with computers on campus, we have a great service in Bierce Library. That's where you can actually go to check out a laptop or even an iPad when you're here as a student. All you should do is just present your zip card, another form of identification like a driver's license, and you can check out a laptop or an iPad for 24 hours or 7 days, just based on the different availability, what they have available for students. But it's really great. I know I've used it a few times when I forgot to bring my laptop and was like, oh, I really should start working on this paper, and kind of wanted to go to the quiet part of the library. Or say, for instance, maybe your computer breaks or there's a virus or something. That's great to kind of utilize those different technology resources there in the library too. So definitely take advantage of that when you're here.
Something else cool about where you can check out laptops and iPads or anything like that, you can also, if there's something wrong with your computer, if you have a virus or something's just not working right, you can always bring it into the media tech services and they'll fix it for you free of charge. You just have to bring your student IDs to show that you're a University of Akron student. And if there is something that you would need to pay for, it would only be if you need to ship in a part or anything like that. You just pay for the part, ship it in, and they'll fix it for you free of charge. So that's something that is really nice and you should take advantage of at the University of Akron.
Morgan's exactly right. About 2 semesters ago, my laptop actually got a virus, and I took it there to the Media Tech Services, and they completely took off the virus on my computer and installed virus protection software for me. Within 2 days, I had my laptop back, and I didn't have to pay anything. All I had to do was just show them my zip card. So definitely saved me some money because I was kind of freaking out, especially not having my computer for a couple days. They do it really quick, and it's all free for students, which is really awesome too. Okay, another question. What is your favorite residence hall on campus? Well, although I haven't lived on campus, I have visited a lot of my friends in all the different halls. And I actually really like Boulder Hall just because it offers some of the suite style rooms that we have here at the University of Akron. And how that works is when you walk into the room, there's actually 3 rooms. In one of the rooms, there's a bedroom for 2 people. In another room, there's a bedroom for 2 other people. And then in the middle, there's a common living area that is where all 4 students share that space. So I always liked that because initially one of my friends that was in my classes my freshman year, I was able to meet not only her roommate, but her other 2 suite mates. And it was just kind of cool that there was a lot of different people there. And it was just a cool hangout spot to add some extra space there in the middle. So I think if I lived on campus, that might be one of the spots I would like.
I know even though I love my residence hall, one of my good friends lives in Quaker Residence Hall, and that's kind of like a unique residence hall because the Quaker Residence Hall used to be a hotel, and so all the rooms are actually old hotel rooms, so that's really cool. They have actually circular style rooms, which is a little bit different than the traditional normal residence hall rooms, and they have their full bathroom inside the room and all of that. So those are kind of like other unique style of residence rooms different than mine that I really like to visit.
Now this will sound a little biased, but I do like the Honors Residence Hall the best. The main reason why is just because the atmosphere there is just study oriented. There's a lot of study lounges and things where you can get together with people that are taking your same classes that are really smart and they can help you along with the way. And that's something I really like. And I just love the newness of the Honors Residence Hall and the computer lab down in the basement too.
Okay, describe a typical day for you on campus. For me, typically, my day will start around 8 o'clock. I typically will go to work for about 2 hours, and then I have my first class at 10 o'clock. That class will go until 10:45. And then I'll have my next class at 11 o'clock, and that'll go till about noon. Then after that class, I typically will have about a 2-hour break, and then I'll come back to work for a couple hours until 5 o'clock, just to give campus tours, working in the admissions office with Morgan and Derek, which is really fun. And so that my day typically will go until 5, and then I typically will stay on campus for an hour or 2 and go to the library and work on my homework there. Sometimes I'll have different meetings for organizations too, like about 2 nights ago at 6 o'clock I had a meeting for ambassadors on campus, so I had to go to that. So it was just kind of nice because I just was studying in my free time in between that, things like that. So that's typically kind of what my day looks like. What the ambassador program is, it's an opportunity for students who really are involved on campus and really, like the University of Akron, kind of want to share their pride, to get involved in this club called Ambassadors, where you can actually have the opportunity to work different events with alumni of the university, which is really cool. So for instance, there's certain things where homecoming weekend's really big because a lot of alumni come back. So like this past homecoming year, I gave a tour to some of the alumni who were here, haven't been here in over 20 years. So it was awesome for them to come back and kind of see how much campus has changed. And it was cool for me too to hear their different memories of different buildings and stuff like that, to kind of hear what their experience was like. You can even do things like you can help out in the president's box at the football games, where you actually get to just mingle, talk about the football game, almost even network with some of these alumni when you're just going to the University of Akron football game. So it's kind of a good way to learn more about people who have attended here and kind of share that same pride for the Akron Zips as you do. As well as it's really great to kind of get some networking in and get to meet some other people who might be in your job field or might be able to offer you an internship, stuff like that. It's a really great opportunity for all those different kinds of things. In fact, I actually met some new friends through the organization too, which is really awesome too.
A typical day for me, well, one thing I like about the University of Akron is you can kind of customize your schedule in a way, and I was able to do that with a lot of my freshman classes that I'm taking. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are usually my somewhat busy days. I go from around 9 o'clock in the morning till around 3 in the afternoon. And the thing I like about making your own schedule is Tuesdays and Thursdays are my kind of easier days. Like today I only have one class, so that was really nice. And then I can work and give campus tours during the days that I don't have that much stuff to do, and I can also catch up on all my studies from the previous day. So.
My schedule is a lot like Derek's. I have Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I have a couple classes back to back. Then I usually have a lunch break where I can go to the student union, eat lunch, hang out with my friends, and then I come here to the Office of Admissions and work and give tours, which is great. My Tuesday and Thursday classes are a little less busy, but what I love here is we do have a gym credit requirement, but it's not usually like your normal gym credit. You get to choose what you want, and for me, I chose to do yoga. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I wake up early and I go to my yoga class, and it's really nice, kind of like gets me going, start my day, and then usually take like an hour and a half lunch break, and then come back here to work and give tours as well.
How do you register for your classes? Do you have an academic advisor or someone who helps you? Here on campus, all of our scheduling for classes is actually online. It's on something called My Akron, which you'll get login information for once you apply to the university, because you can actually check your application status via My Akron. So it kind of gives you, a little bit of experience with that website before you're even a student here. And on My Akron, there is an icon that says Student Center. And through that icon, you can see a lot of different things like financial aid information, tuition information, stuff like that. But one of the main things you'll use it for is actually scheduling your classes. Through that Student Center, you go in and you can type in the different numbers and classes that you'd like to schedule. But prior to doing that, every student, has an academic advisor. We encourage all students to go visit their academic advisor about once a semester. I know I visit mine typically about 2 or 3 weeks before I'm able to schedule classes. Then I'll go there for about a half an hour appointment, and I'll talk with my advisor about what classes I need to take for that upcoming semester to make sure I'm graduating when I'd like to, and that I meet all the prerequisite requirements, and making sure I'm staying on the right path with how many credit hours I'm taking and things like that. So it's really nice because the advisors will tell you what classes you need to take, and they'll give you these different numbers or kind of codes for the classes, and then you can go home and actually decide what times and days you'd like those classes. So all you do is just type in those different codes the advisor gave you, and then you can go and see, it's offered on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays from 9 to 10, but it's also offered on Tuesdays and Thursdays from, 4 o'clock until 5:30. Maybe I only want it 2 days a week, or maybe I want to go 3. So there's a lot of different options, so that way you can kind of rearrange your schedule, make sure it's just how you'd like it. If you want your classes to be back-to-back, you can typically try to do that. If you want some different breaks, in between, if you want to work on campus or just give you some study time, you can definitely create that schedule when you go onto your My Akron in that Student Center. And all new students, you'll actually get to schedule all of your classes during new student orientation, which typically takes place over the summer for students. I would say the busiest months are probably May, June, and July, when a lot of students are coming to campus and kind of going through all of that. Also in new student orientation, it's not just all paperwork and the structured stuff. You actually get to do a lot of fun things. You'll have an orientation leader who will play games and kind of get you to know all the different students on campus. You'll also get to hear a lot of times from students who are in your specific major, so that can be really helpful in just kind of getting to know what classes you to expect, kind of what you need to do in what semesters or what years, when should I start planning for an internship, things of that sort. As well as you'll get to meet with a lot of different offices on campus that typically students and even parents are really interested in like financial aid. You'll get to meet your academic advisor during orientation. You can also talk with, offices like our Office of Accessibility. You can visit with our recreation center, so you can kind of learn all about those different intramural sports. All those different things are available to kind of answer any questions you have when you come through new student orientation.
Mallory was actually my orientation leader, and it's really cool that we just happen to work together now. So I know I probably bother her almost every day asking her about communications classes, since we are in the same major, and what to take. And it's kind of nice to have like a older peer mentor and who has taken the same classes that I'm going to take, and just to kind of ask for her advice about them too. So that's really nice.
Oh, thanks, Morgan. Also with new student orientation, this past year we actually started something new on campus, which is kind of like a second part of orientation. And what that is called Nuru Weekends. It's actually the weekend right before classes start. And it's required for all students, regardless of if you live on campus or if you're a commuter student. Everyone comes to campus for 3 days, and you get to do all kinds of fun things. There'll be presentations by your academic area. There'll be free food. You'll be in different groups, so you'll do different, icebreakers, stuff like that. This year we made the Harlem Shake video at Nuru Weekend. You can go to... We got to hear a band play, so that was kind of cool, and get to see all the different athletic teams. We got to meet all those players. So there's a lot of different things on campus that were kind of a fun atmosphere to kind of get you excited for campus, excited for classes, kind of get you acclimated too. Because as a new student, I'm sure you guys might be thinking, oh my goodness, is it hard to find my classes? How am I going to know where to go the first day? That weekend kind of tries to help you feel more comfortable and get to know some other people, so that way you're ready to go on your first day of class too. Okay, what do you like best about the University of Akron? For me, I think what I like best about the University of Akron is truly the people here. I think that people is kind of what has made my experience the best since I've been here in all different areas. To the students that I have in my classes, because I thought as a commuter student that I wasn't going to meet as many people, that people were just going to go to class and just pay attention and not really talk to each other and things like that. And right from the get-go, the girl I'm actually best friends with here at Akron, I met my first day in my first class. So that was just kind of really started off on a good first impression and a good first step for my freshman year. So I really like that. Plus, all the teachers here are really helpful, and all the staff and things like that. I know just from working in the Office of Admissions, I feel like I have a second little family here, just with all the different student assistants and seeing the different admissions representatives every day. I really just felt comfortable on campus, and I feel like, I'm not coming to work and I'm not coming to school. I feel like I'm coming, I'm enjoying my days when I'm here. Obviously, there's times when my class gets a little stressful, but I feel like the people is what makes it really comfortable, and it's a supportive environment that I've really didn't expect, so to say. I mean, everyone was friendly when I got here, but I was still nervous about making friends and making those connections that might be last, not just for one day when you're on a campus tour. And I think that I've really met a lot of people here that I'll be friends with for a long time.
I think for me, the best thing I like about the University of Akron is kind of like the environment. As Mallory said earlier, there's about 27,000 students that attend the university. However, when I'm walking from class to class, I see about 3 people I know. So it seems like a really big university. There's a lot of people, you won't really know anyone, but just from the connections I've made and everything, I've met a lot of people, and it really makes me feel at home here. I don't feel as like a number, I feel more like a person here, which is really nice.
I really like all the opportunities that the university offers. They want you to be able to get involved and to make friends and to build your social skills. And there's so many different student organizations that you can take part of here, and just meet new people. And that's what I really love, is just all the opportunities that we can make that you wouldn't have at like a smaller university. So I can like join the hide and seek club or something like that just other universities don't really have. And then you can meet new friends along the way. So.
Okay, how did you choose your major at the University of Akron? For me, I actually was initially an undecided student, much like what Derek's going through right now. And because of that, I actually chose to be part of the exploratory learning community. And Morgan kind of mentioned a part of that earlier today in our presentation. But what it is basically an opportunity that I had to take 3 of my core classes with the same students who are going through the same experience as me. So I had my English Composition 1 class, my public speaking class, and then also a career planning class with a group of about 15 to 20 undecided students as well. So it was really cool because through that I got to meet a lot of people. It was cool to actually kind of felt like a good transition from high school to college because it was like high school where you get to see a lot of the familiar faces every day you go to class. So I really liked that. But in addition to that, I also had just like a normal college lecture class. It was my biology class that semester too. But with that, as part of that learning community, I got to take a career planning class. So that's where I took a lot of different personality inventories, different tests based on, what my skills are, what kind of learner I am, as well as we did different activities. Like I remember one activity we did was we made a family tree of everyone in our family and what their careers and jobs are. That was kind of eye-opening for me, just realizing that a lot of my family members are really involved in people-oriented jobs and things like that, which kind of made sense. And so through that, I was able to kind of hone in on the communications major that I decided just through a lot of the different tests. That was a common theme that kept coming up. So that's kind of what I ended up landing on, and I'm really enjoying it so far.
For me, I am a communications major, and I know I want to do something with people. However, I'm not exactly sure which branch of communications I want to go into. So some activities and programs that the University of Akron offers for communication students are, we have something called ZTV, which is just a student-run television station, as well as our student-run radio station, which is actually #1 in the nation. It's WZIP 88.1, so that's something that communication students can get involved in, as well as non-communication students for the radio station. So for me, as a communications major, kind of not really sure what I wanted to get into, I've gotten into ZTV to see if I want to get into broadcasting. So those are just some great opportunities that you can get involved in if you're not really sure what you want to do, and just kind of like explore the communications major, which is really nice.
How do you get internships on campus or co-ops? One of the best ways that you can investigate with internships and co-ops is visiting our Career Center, which is located in our student union. And that's where you can go to speak with a career counselor on, your major and what different things you're looking for in an internship. They can be really helpful in trying to find and connect with different companies to kind of find out if someone's looking for an intern, if you meet the requirements, things like that. They tend to be very helpful. And I know even in the School of Communications, we actually have a staff member specifically for communications majors to help us find internships. I believe the College of Engineering is the same way. They have someone who helps organize what co-ops and things like that you can have for engineering. But in addition to that, there's even things on campus that the Career Center holds, different events that are career fairs. And typically there's always one in the fall and always one in the spring, if not some in between there as well. That's when you can go, get dressed up, bring your resume and a cover letter, and actually get to talk with some different organizations, some different companies who might be hiring for an actual full-time position, or maybe are just looking for some interns to start you off. So that's always a great opportunity to get involved with. That's all free for you to do. All you have to do is just kind of dress up and get that resume ready to go there. We encourage students to even start going there your freshman year, just so you can kind of get comfortable with the kinds of conversations you have, to kind of see some of the different businesses and things like that that are there, so that way when you get a little bit more comfortable with what you're doing, that you can kind of really seamlessly transition into that internship with those different companies too. Is it easy to find a campus job as a student at the University of Akron? I think it's pretty easy. One of the best ways to get a campus job is once you fill out your FAFSA, which is the financial aid form that gives you financial aid through the government. Oftentimes a lot of students are granted work-study And with that, a lot of offices on campus are hiring work-study students, so that way you get a paycheck just as any other student would, but you're just considered a work-study student. We also have a lot of opportunities for students who do not have work study, where you can have a job from anywhere, where we all work in the Office of Admissions as tour guides and visitor relations assistants, so helping answer the phone, do paperwork, different projects for our office. All the different offices on campus have a similar kind of similar kind of tasks where you can sit at a front desk, do filings. We even have opportunities where you could work at the rec center. So say, you really are into working out and like that environment, you could apply for a job there. We even have all of our different food locations on campus. So say, for instance, maybe you work at a restaurant in your hometown, so you already have some of those skills and kind of really enjoy it. You could even work at one of the restaurants here on campus. There's even jobs where you could do like landscaping on campus. So you could help, mow the grass, or you could help trim the bushes and stuff like that. There's even jobs where you could work for our parking services. So you kind of get to go around and give people parking tickets, or you can help kind of collect the money for when people have different events on campus or things like that. So there's a lot of different opportunities for students here. And I think being a student assistant and having a campus job has been really great because the offices on campus know that you're here to be a student first. So they're not going to get mad at you if, say, for instance, one day you're super stressed out, you have a paper due, a test the next day, and a project all in the same week, and you just need to take the day off. They're not going to get mad at you. They completely understand that school comes first, and that's why you're here. I know our boss in the Office of Admissions is super flexible. She just sent out an email the other day saying the week of finals, we can work if we want to, but we completely don't have to, just because she knows how busy that we can be with for school, and she wants us to succeed with that. So it's really great. They're super flexible with your schedule. You actually get to create your own schedule of working on campus when you're a student too. With parking, do you have to have a parking pass when you're here as a student? Yes, when you are a student here, you will want to have a parking pass. But one thing that's really nice is as long as you're a full-time student, your parking pass is all included in tuition. So you don't actually have to pay any money out of pocket for a pass. You can request it online, so that My Akron that I was mentioning earlier, you can go through our My Akron to request that pass, or just get it in person in our parking services office. And first year students, so if you're a freshman who's wanting to live on campus, you are allowed to have a car your first year. So that's really awesome. If you want to bring in your car, you can. And typically how it works is when you request your parking permit, you will get one that either has an R for resident or a C for commuter. And you just need to make sure you park in the corresponding lots that are marked C or R. Typically, it's really easy. For instance, we have a couple parking decks on campus, and oftentimes the bottom levels are for commuter students and the top levels are for residents, which is easy access for the students who are living on that area of campus. There's even some different service slots that are for commuters and residents, things like that. There's so many different parking spots. They actually increased parking a couple of years ago. That's really helped to make sure that every student can find a spot. So it's pretty easy when you're here too. Are you allowed to have any pets in the residence hall? You actually are allowed to have a fish. That's about as far as it goes. You can bring a stuffed animal if you want that as your pet. But otherwise, like dogs or cats or like guinea pigs, stuff like that, you want to keep at home. But you can have a little fish in a small aquarium if you're interested when you're living in the residence halls. Is there air conditioning and heating in the residence halls? There sure is. You actually have your own thermostat in the rooms to where you can adjust the temperature with the air conditioning or with the heating to kind of make it as comfortable and suitable for you and your roommate as you'd like, which is awesome.
That was a giant plus for me when I came here. I loved having the air conditioning because the first 2 weeks it was really hot here, and me and my roommate just turned the air all the way up and just had the cold air blasting. So that was just a nice thing to have. That made it feel one less thing to worry about, that we could ease the transition from high school into college.
All right, everyone. Well, this concludes our session. Thanks so much for listening. If you have any other questions, you can always call our office or look us up online, www.uakron.edu. Thanks so much. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.